City life, yeah, it had its charms, but we would dream of the fields under the stars. I fall asleep inside its arms. The love is here at Goldshop Farms. The love is here at Goldshop Farms.
What is going on, everybody? Good to see you tonight. I'm super excited for yet another live stream here. Looks like, wow, we got already a whole bunch of people here. And yeah, we're going to be talking about all the good stuff going on around the farm and things that have been happening. We are officially, I should say officially, I feel like we've been in it for a little while, but we are like full on into mud season here on the farm, meaning that's that time of year between like winter and actual spring. So nothing's growing, nothing's green. It's just brown and gray and muddy. The snow is starting to recede. Things are starting to warm up a little bit, but like, you know, I just did the chores and it was like 32 degrees and rainy, and it's going to be pretty much like that all night tonight. But it's definitely spring. I think we're probably getting to the last week, maybe the last 2 weeks of maple sugaring, which I've been doing like on a weekly basis, and you guys will be seeing some videos about that very soon in the next couple of days. I can see so many folks are here. Hey, what's going on? Drew, what's going on? Tammy, Kim, and Frank. Good to see you guys. Welcome back. Jessica's over in Ohio. We've got New Jersey representing, Orlando. Wow, this is awesome. Dublin. Wow, you're up late for Dublin, Campo, but thanks for coming and watching. As you guys know, this is like our farm meeting. This is like the monthly event that we do where we go live, take your questions on Facebook and YouTube, and you know, try to give you as many answers as I can, as well as updates on the farm, and like talk about all the little things that I might not actually cover in the videos. I don't know if you guys just saw it, but Lil Barn Cat is hanging out on her window perch. Let's see if we can get her to say hello. Hey, Lil. Want to say hi to the people? Oh, hang on. Let me tilt the camera. Little Barn Cat, who is my constant office companion. She usually likes to sleep. Oh, there she goes. She usually likes to sleep in the cat tree, but yeah, for some reason she's up and running around right now. She's got a lot of energy. Let me see if I can encourage her up with a cat treat. And let me take some questions. By the way, if you guys have questions, please put them up in all caps. What's going on, Eric? Good to see you, man. I actually been meaning to send you an email. I've been so busy and I keep forgetting to do that. Hey, Debbie Piper Lely, good to see you. Deb. Misfits Fox, good to see you. Wow, you know, one of the things I love about these live streams is the fact that like I just feel like I get to know you guys even more. Like I see you and we kind of go back and forth in the comments sometimes, but I feel like it's always a much more fruitful discussion and back and forth here in these live streams. All right, let's see if Lil's gonna come up. Come on, Lil. Come on, sweetie. You know you want the treat. Come on. She's coming. Watch. There she is. Say hi to the peoples, Lil. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. Who's got the honors of the first good question of going? All right. Here, we're going to start with this one, even though it's not in all caps. I'm not really working on any woodworking projects per se. I think, you know, the last big project I had was finishing off this office. The latest thing I've been doing is I've been putting some things together for Allison's kind of library space. Like, you know, we're a couple of two married people, who live in a gigantic house by ourselves. We don't have kids or anybody else living us with really. We have 2 guest rooms in the house, but we also each kind of like respectively have our own space. So, you know, it's like we've got our bedroom, which, you know, that's where we both sleep and have our clothes and all that stuff. But like this room, my office is like where I like hang out and, you know, do my work. And, you know, it's just like, this is my favorite space in the house. Allison has this room in another part of the house that we call the library, which is like a fancy ladies room where it's like, you know, she'll have tea and she'll practice her cello and kind of hang out in that way. And I've been like helping her do some improvements there. So I guess that would be the last project. I don't know. Maybe I'll take on a woodworking project, but like right now, I don't know. I don't know why somebody's angry. Carla's angry. I don't know why. Well, those are the Facebook icons if you guys are wondering. All right, how's the new barn doing? Well, Tom Travis, the new barn is moving along like crazy. There's going to be a video tomorrow talking about the build. I will say in the last 2 weeks, we have made an insane amount of progress, and yeah, I'm just so happy with the crew that we have, the work they've been doing, what the barn is looking like. It's all pretty awesome. I mean, you guys want to see some aerial shots here? I'll just throw them up on the screen. You know, I mean, you can see it's getting there. Tomorrow's video is all about, you know, getting the initial part of the barn built, and we had a little bit of drama, but not too bad. But yeah, no, I am super excited with how the barn's looking and how it's all coming together. I really think that this barn is changing the landscape of our farm in a positive way, but it's changed. And it's funny, like I'll be out doing my chores and like, you know, I'll be in the duck yard and look out towards the street. And I used to be able to like kind of look all the way down. Now it's like, wow, I have this like, you know, beautiful wooden framed barn that I'm looking upon, as you guys can kind of see here. But yeah, it's making tremendous amounts of progress, and I'm super excited about it, Tom. Mud is a byproduct of puddle season. Yeah, I mean, effectively, it's the same kind of deal. For sure. You know, mud season, puddle season. Person turquoise waving. Is that a green screen? All right. I know, Bruce. I know. I should probably address this one. So I put out, as I usually do, like, I'm not a big holiday guy, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, 4th of July, like, you know, they're always kind of like ho-hum to me. I'm not a big fan. For Halloween, I kind of like don't have much time for. But the one holiday that I absolutely love and like to try to take advantage of is April Fool's. And yes, I pulled an April Fool's prank on folks. If you saw the video that came out on Saturday, where I said that the farm is not real, everything's green screen and CGI, and, you know, just tried to have a little bit of fun with it. But no, everything is truly real, if you guys are wondering. I am a real farm. I am me. There's no actors or actresses. I don't know. Maybe I went overboard with that prank. I thought it was fun. I thought it was so obvious that people would get it, but I don't know. Maybe not. I'd be curious to hear from you guys, like your reaction to it. I got a couple of very panicked emails, and I'm sorry for folks that got distressed. It was meant to be like me having some good fun. So yeah. Ooh, this is a good one from Elise here. What are the big projects for summer 2023? And by the way, Elise did a really good job asking her question, because it makes it so easy for me to pick it out of the sea of conversation. So Elise, my big projects for the summer are, number one, you know, the barn build, which is already underway, but then we've got to do electrical. We've got a lot of earthworks to do, because one of the things we're going to have to do is actually upgrade the electrical at the farm, because we're getting a feed of solar from the project that's happening next door that I'm going to be doing a video on very soon. But then we also have like we got to do like upgrade the electric here so that we can handle car chargers and some other things that we're putting in. And so the electrical will be a project. We're going to be kind of redoing like our driveways and roadways around the farm a little bit so that they don't turn into the muddy messes that they do right now. Water is going to be a huge focus here. And so specifically, I'm going to be trying to tap a spring that's, I don't know, about 1,000 yards from the bird yard, and use that as a sort of constant flow of water eventually for my cattle, as well as a source of water for our pond. And so that's going to be a big project. We're also going to probably dig a second pond. I don't think I've talked too much about this, but I know I made a video last fall talking about the fact that we have this spot on the top of our pasture that I did some test holes on a spring, and there's an active spring on the top of the pasture. And so what I want to do is have my buddy Alfred actually dig it out and create a new pond enclosure. Hopefully it'll catch and hold water. Based on the tests that I've done so far, it should. And so that'll be a big project. And then the other one is I'm going to be getting pigs in probably about a month or so. And so when that happens, I really want to make sure I'm ready and give myself as well the space and time to be used to that. And so that'll be a project as well. And then there'll be smaller things, but those are the biggies. I don't think I'm going to be taking on too many other big things, but you'll see other little stuff pop up. All right, what other questions do we got here? I mean, look, Robin, this hold on. I'm gonna add this video right here so you can see it. Like this is, we're maybe a little bit less snow than is in this aerial shot right here, but not much. We've still got a fair amount, but it's not what it was, say 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like significant meltage and a lot of mud on the ground. So there you go. Hey, a newfie here with AJ. What's going on? Hey, my home state of Connecticut. What's going on there? All right, Spokane. Wow, there's so many people. All right, are you going to get sheep? Maybe someday is the answer on the sheep. Like, I don't have any plans or intentions of getting sheep right now. Like I said, the new animal focus for this year is gonna be the pigs and figuring out how I like doing pigs and if that's something I'm gonna continue doing as part of our farm expansion or not. But I will say I was actually at a friend of mine's farm. So a guy by the name of Ben Notterman, who is up in Hardwick, Vermont. So not too far at all. He has a farm, he and his family, called Snug Valley Farm. Really, really great people, really great farm. And, he was actually taking me through a tour of his farm yesterday and showing me some of the infrastructure he's got. And he's got sheep, and they're in the middle of lambing season. And I will admit to you guys, I absolutely loved spending time in the lambing barn. And it really does strike me how in some ways sheep are a lot harder to deal with than cattle, and then in other ways they're a lot easier. But just seeing the setup that Ben has over there with those sheep was pretty cool, and did have me saying, well, maybe someday. But no immediate short-term plans at all around that. I think that the pigs are very much the next animal to be added to the farm. Hey, what's going on there, Hedgewick Homestead? How are Frank and Bean doing? Well, they're both doing really well. Frank, who is the goose who was raised, pretty much, as the best friend of Bean, and then they spent time with chickens and they spent time with ducks. Frank is like the protector of the ducks. So much like Ron Swanson is the duck that we have, who I raised with geese, who she basically thinks she's a goose and she spends pretty much all of her time with the geese. Frank is a goose who thinks he's a duck, or she's a duck. I think she's a female still. So really, that's typically how like the interaction's happening there, and it's good because you got somebody standing up for the ducks, and at the same time I have all my ducks, geese, and chickens living together. And so what I think is going to be interesting is as I start to separate animals off this summer and late spring and into summer, I'm not sure where I'm going to put Frank. Bean is also doing well. Bean's kind of like a weirdly an outsider with the ducks, but she's definitely with the ducks doing well. She's laying eggs like crazy. I figured out her laying spot for where she's typically laying her duck eggs, and she's doing really well. I would not be surprised too if I have some ducks that are really good at being mothers, particularly the ones that have a lot of Cayuga blood. And Bean's got a fair amount of Cayuga blood in her, and I think she will probably try to hatch out some ducklings later this year on her own. Okay. Meat and Mount Point, we got dumped on 15 inches, but this weekend we should get warm temps to get, we had like about 3 weeks ago, we got dumped on, we got a ton of snow, and now it's kind of, getting there. Yeah. Oh, hey, by the way, shout out to Drew. Drew came by the farm. I invited her, so again, please don't show up to the farm. But Drew came by the farm the other week and took some great pictures. And so actually one of my headshot now is courtesy of Drew, and I think we have her tagged, right? Let me check. But yeah, Drew is super talented photographer, and you should check her out if you get a chance. Yeah, there you go. Oh, actually, here's another question. Do you allow people from the nearby village of West Barnet to visit your farm? Well, RJ, I don't typically, and even if you're in West Barnet, you're local. I typically try not to have folks visit unless they have a prearranged appointment. Only because of a couple things. One, I just don't have the time to. I kind of like to have my privacy a little bit and not have to be given tours all the time. And three, it's tough to accommodate all the requests. But that said, I do want to share actually one thing and put this out there. We currently are auctioning off a trip and tour to the farm. And this is like a special thing. I only did it once last year, and I probably will only do it once this year. Maybe I might do it 2 times because there's another good cause I might do this for. But basically what it is this. typically when people come to like buy a goose from the farm or buy beef from the farm, I'll give them kind of the quick, 15-minute tour, show them around, let them, meet some of the animals and kind of see what's going on. But you don't get quite as full access. This special tour that I do where and typically we're doing it during hatching season, so you can kind of go in there and hang out with the ducklings and goslings. That is something we are going to be auctioning off. It's for a good charity, so it's not like I'm getting any money from it. But all the money raised from this auction goes to support my local library here in Peacham, as well as our student activity funds for the elementary school. So it's basically supporting our local elementary school and library. And so it's a cause I really like to support because I genuinely care about our town and the folks who live here and making sure that the kids get a good experience. You can see it here. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And definitely check this out. But this is how you can actually bid. And I know though, and I know I actually am just seeing this. It's up to $2,000 already. I know it's a little bit pricey, but it's going. I hope we actually raise more because again, the money goes to a really good cause. If you're interested, this is I will be cooking you lunch from the farm. It'll be a variety of things that are farm based. And yes, we even have some beef from Kurt Cobain who will be coming into it. That will be a lot of fun. And so you should check it out. And the funny thing is, please don't be a jerk because somebody actually bid $10 million for it and it kind of screwed up the bidding for a day until we were able to fix it. If you want to make a real bid, check out that link that I dropped in the chat. All right. What other questions we got? Is the My Buddy Alfred song on any streaming platforms? No, I don't. And here's actually the reason why it's not. So I have the rights to use it in YouTube videos, but again, I sort of did a lot of the lyrics. The writer actually did a bit of his own, and Patrick, the guy who actually performed it. So I don't have the rights. I don't think to put it up there. I have the rights to put it on YouTube, but I don't think I could put it on Spotify or something. So it is not up there, Track Geeks. Can we get more video of you TRA? I don't know what that means. Do you hens fight over the best nesting box like mine? A little bit, but honestly, AJ, I think if you're finding that your hens are fighting over nesting boxes, then you might need more nesting boxes, quite honestly, because it'll make a big difference. Hey, Bambi. How many ducklings will you aim to hatch this year? I don't know. So last year I actually did a big duck hatch because every other year I tried to kind of add replacement birds because older ducks and chickens, their laying capacity dives down after year 2. And so last year I hatched out a bunch of ducklings. And so there's a lot of new ducks this year. And so I don't expect to hatch out a ton. Probably the only ducks that will get hatched are going to be ones that are hatched by mama ducks, so naturally hatched. I probably won't put any duck eggs in the incubator, and I say probably because I can't guarantee it. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. I will be hatching a lot of chickens this year though, because I'm due to update my chicken flock, and so you'll see a lot more chicken hatching going on this year than duck hatching. In fact, I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview of something you probably won't see for a couple of weeks. Tomorrow, I'm actually taking a very broody goose that I have, and I'm slipping some chicken eggs underneath her, and I'm going to see if she can hatch out those chickens. So you'll see me doing a lot of hatching experience with chickens and geese. You'll see a lot of that this year. Not as much ducks this year, just because it's an off duck year. Next year, you'll see me do a lot more hatching of ducks and less hatching of chickens. It's just I basically flip it every other year so that I can have the right balance and mix and ages of layers in my flocks. Heinland's excited for the doc in masterclass. Okay, if you guys don't know what Heinland's talking about, so in May on Abundance Plus, which is this special streaming platform that my buddy Justin Rhodes put together, there's going to be a documentary that Justin's producing. Dan from the Grass-Fed Homestead is basically writing and directing, and it's all about our farm. Then there's also I don't know, it's probably gonna be like an hour-long masterclass where I talk about some of the hard lessons learned I've had with Livestock Guardian dogs, and I think they're both gonna be awesome. I actually just saw a rough cut of the documentary. It's super different than my YouTube videos, and it has a totally different look and vibe, but it's really, really good. I think Dan's doing a phenomenal job with it. And so, yeah, that'll be coming in May. And so you should definitely, if you want to sign up for Abundance Plus, use the link as well as the coupon code that I left down there. Hey, Sarah, good to see you. You got the Toby plushie dog? I love my Toby plushie dog. I still have it. It's on the other side of the room. I'm not going to run over and grab it, but yeah. In the events of a wildfire, what's the plan? Honestly, Lady Lotus, I'm not really concerned about it. So here on our farm, because we're up in Vermont, which is a pretty wet climate, we don't have significant fire risk. And so it would be wildly unlikely, and even if it did happen, it would not be spread. So I'm not too worried about it. When's the barn gonna be finished? Let's see. I would say probably, so in terms of the build of the barn, I would say in June. I think the electrical is probably not going to get done till later this summer. So yeah, there you go. Well, Zach loves the fake farm. I love you too, Zach. Thanks, Carolyn. I gotta say, guys, I am loving life in the new office. This has been the best setup for me by far. You know, if you guys don't know the backstory, there's a whole video that I've made about it. But yeah, this is like my workspace. This is where I edit all my videos, where I like hang out, like listen to records, read comic books, the whole 9 yards. I love this space, and it's been working out great. And I've been keeping it clean and organized. So part of the design choice I made here was to like have it so that everything's out in the open. So everything has a place and everything like needs to go in a specific spot, but it's really easy for me to see and put it where it needs to go. And so I've been keeping it surprisingly tidy. So there you have it. Okay. I'm realizing I'm like 20 minutes behind on these questions. Sorry, guys. All right. Bill Gould. What's going on, Bill? So do you think you'll ever produce your own hay for the cows? Maybe, but not anytime soon. And the answer is because I don't have the haying equipment. It's like another task that takes a lot of time, and I can get hay relatively cheaper here. And so I would rather buy hay from a neighbor, have it brought over here, get it all set up, and then feed that to my cattle, and then I'll be able to take all of the compost from them. And so you know, that like to me is a benefit. Plus I'm not pulling the nutrition off of my field, and any grass that's on my farm is going back into the soil, and so I see all of that as a positive. So yeah, there you go. Kelly Meyer says, any advice on building a good sturdy chicken coop? I mean, if you want a mobile chicken tractor, there is no better design than the John Siskovich stress-free chicken tractor. And so that's definitely worth doing. And so you should check that one out. If you just Google John Siskovich chicken tractor plans, John sells it on his website. John's a friend of mine. He's a really good dude. Honestly, that's like the best if you need a mobile like chicken tractor. For another type of coop, I don't know. There's a lot of designs out there. I would just strongly suggest you look for one that's easy to clean. So either something with like a, you know, it's raised up that you can slide out all the bedding, or something that's like deep litter bedding. One of those two would be what I'd suggest. No, I'm not wearing eyeliner. It's just, I don't know, lack of sleep, I guess. I don't know. You know, I think Italian guys always end up getting like kind of like darkish raccoony eyes. I definitely have that, I guess. All right, what animals are you going to put in the new barn? So honestly, Quinn, mostly not animals. The new barn will house, you know, tractor implements, probably other vehicles, like other farm vehicles. I will definitely be putting freezers inside the new barn, so like, you know, storing our meat and that sort of thing. And so that will be part of it. And so that will be there. And then the only real animal that has a place at the new barn is going to be my hatching is going to start taking place there. So on the second floor of the new barn, I'm going to be building essentially a bird nursery. It will be, kind of protected against predators. It will have space for all my incubators. And so as I'm doing bird hatching, it'll take place inside the barn. And then probably even for the first day or two, I'll have call it like bird crib that I can keep them brooded before I bring them out to my main brooders. And so a lot of hatching will take place in that new barn as well. Hey, Patty. So I don't think I'm going to do an open house farm tour this year. I think the only ways you're going to be able to get onto the farm and visit will be either when we do our goose sale and bird sale later this year, as well as if you win like the auction for Peacham. So those would be the two ways to do it. I foresee a color change in winter. No way, Jose, or no way, Heather. I love the color. I know a lot of people are actually kind of down on this. And here, I'm going to actually pull up the lights so you can see it better. I personally really like the color in here because honestly, it makes it easier for video. And so that's actually why it's lit the way it is. That's why it's painted the way it is. I kind of, oftentimes when I'm hanging out in here, just me and Lil, and like I'm maybe like reading or trying to do some writing or something, I like have it dark in here. I don't know what it is. I'm like a caveman. I like dark, cozy places. Like that makes me happy. I don't know. It's some sort of weird animal instinct, probably. And so for me, that's why it is. I know that's not for everybody. Some people like bright, cheerful rooms. I don't know. Maybe it's the emo teenager in me, but I kind of like it. I do a little bit, not much. I think the one thing, and probably this spring would be a good time to do it, that I might try experimenting more is like foraging for mushrooms and that sort of thing. There's a spot on the farm where we have ramps, and I love picking some of those each spring. That's great. I've tried to find fiddleheads, but I don't think we have the right variety of fern. But dandelion greens, I'll definitely include those in salads and that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of other things we forage. I mean, then a lot of berries. So like we have a lot of different blackberries and raspberries around the farm, and so I'll definitely, like Allison loves picking those too. And then we have a lot of beech nuts, and so I've harvested those in the past too. So I don't know. That's probably the extent of foraging, Allison. Oh, well, yes, Carol. We will get some more halter training on Randy. There's actually a video that I'm planning to shoot later this week talking about halter training Randy and showing you guys some of the things with his progress. But yes, more to come on that one for sure. But yes, Carol, later in April, you will absolutely get your request, and there will be a training and grooming video about Randy. I love Shoresy, Mama Styles. Somebody actually asked me this somewhere else. I think it was like a live stream on TikTok or somewhere. But I absolutely loved that first season of Shoresy. I'm excited for the second season of Shoresy. Somebody asked me actually, which do I prefer, Letterkenny or Shoresy? And I think on like a whole, based on all the show, I still prefer Letterkenny. But if I'm basing the last season of Shoresy versus the last season of Letterkenny, Shoresy. So, but I'm a huge fan of both shows. Like, they're probably my two favorite shows on television right now. That and Succession. I don't know if you guys watch Succession. I love Succession. There's nothing like watching horrible rich people who are all awful and just kind of laugh and having it kind of played as comedy. I don't know. I love that show. L to the OG, Hey, Cody, man. Hey, Cody, I gotta shoot you a note. I actually had something I wanted to reach out to you about, so I will message you. But I'm looking forward to the weather. It's definitely gonna be warming up, and it's feeling like spring up in these parts. Cody's also up in these parts. Do any of my animals, including Toby Dog, respond to music? I've tried a little bit here and there, and for the most part, the answer is no. Dang, the barn's as big as the house, right? Yeah, it's not quite as big as the house, but I mean, it's not like, here you can see the footprints pretty well side by side. The house footprint is bigger. The house is going to be slightly taller, but they're close. I mean, I will say that they're definitely close. Yes, the fake farm video was April Fools. April Fools. Well, that makes me actually really glad to hear. I appreciate that. I mean, yes, I'm somebody who has ADHD diagnosed, and I think if you can focus on working with your strengths, it can actually be like a superpower. Like, I actually think my ADHD helps me, even though there are certain things about it that drive my wife and others crazy. There's other parts that, like, I think it like helps my brain just be different and better in other ways. And yeah, there you go. So Jamie, we actually aren't doing an old-fashioned barn raising, and you'll see this in tomorrow's YouTube video. We are doing a like modern day barn raising is what we did in the video that's going to be released tomorrow. Hey, what's going on, Danny? By the way, shout out to my moderators. I know I kind of jumped right into things tonight, but guys, show these folks love. I know we've got Tammy Gillette of the Gillette Homestead. We have Danny from Wicked Awesome Gardening. I think I saw Rose in here earlier. You know, without the mods, we would not be able to do this, as I've said before. And so yeah, there we go. Oh, you know, yeah. So I mean, the short update on Jimmy is he's doing really well. He's out there. He's got his own herd of cattle at this point. He's doing really well. I'm going to probably go over to my buddy Tom's place pretty soon, and we'll end up probably shooting another video. And yes, I'll give you a very direct update on how's Jimmy doing. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Tammy. I really enjoyed it too. I love a good. I mean, there was the video where I said that I was getting tigers, which is like Livestock Guardian tigers was actually the gimmick I used that year. Last year it was about milking bears and starting a bear dairy, which again, not true. And then yes, this year it was pretending like the whole farm was CGI, also not true. Both dogs are outside. Actually right before I came in here to start this live stream, I was out there feeding them and hanging out with them for the night and closing up shop. And yeah, they're both doing good. They really like the dog barn. And it's funny, this time of year, now that things are warming up, I'm noticing that they spend their time underneath the dog barn, which I never really thought about, but Toby has always used underneath the duck house as like one of his favorite spots to hang out during the summer months, because he can kind of still see around the farm, but he's like shaded and it's nice and cool under there. And so, yeah, basically when I was out there earlier, even though it was raining, he was like underneath there and he seemed pretty happy. So, yeah. You wanted to pull a lotto joke on your family. That would have been pretty funny. Oh, for some reason I like went back to this. All right, hold on. All right, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. If you've asked questions and I'm not answering it, don't be ashamed to ask it again. And yeah, there you go. You know, I mean, Ian, look, I'll say this. I've taken medication for my ADHD. I've not taken medication. I've tried behavioral things. Right now, candidly, I am taking medication to help with my ADHD, and it has helped me. And, I think it's actually good to, like, normalize talking about that and saying, yeah, this is something that, makes me function better, and this is what I'm doing. So yeah, I kudos to you for being willing to say that as well. How do you know? I mean, honestly, it's really, you should get diagnosed by a professional. I think it's like one of those things where, oftentimes people will have some sort of challenge, like whether it's like ADHD or OCD or like other, kind of things like neurodivergency. They'll just be like, oh, I have this thing, and they don't really have it, but they like will hear what the symptoms are or like traits of it are and say that that's what they have. I actually think that that's a harmful thing to do. If you really do have concerns, you should go see somebody and they will check things out. And, basically, that will come into play. So yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, if you really do have concerns about it, Dean, go see somebody. There's no shame in that. Oh, hey, Cody. So they are like kind of like crosses. I'm getting them actually from my friend Ben. And yeah, I'm excited about it. They're kind of a production breed, basically. And yeah, that's actually the reason I wanted to talk to you. So I don't want to go into it here, Cody, but I will be reaching out to you. And I need to book some time. Was I ever in a band? I was in some punk rock bands barely when I was a teenager, like when I was in high school. And so yeah, I played bass and sometimes sang. I was horrible. I am I feel like I have talents. Like I feel like I'm a pretty solid writer. I feel like I'm a pretty creative person. And I think I'm a good photographer and I'm a good editor. And I think I can draw and paint and tell a story reasonably well. Like I have artistic and creative skills. I have zero skills when it comes to music, like none whatsoever. I am so musically untalented. It's remarkable. So yeah, it's why I kind of like let that one go and I don't do it now. Oh, Elise is asking, have you decided if Abby will be allowed to roam free once the birds are free ranging? Yeah, the answer is I don't know yet. I think but the truth of the fact is I will probably be not giving her full access just yet until I feel 100%. I mean, and just to tell you why. I mean, I know I said this in a video I made on this topic not too long ago. But like, hold on a sec. Somebody's calling me. Yeah. It's not letting me stop it. Ah. There we go. And so oh no, I totally lost my train of thought. Once the birds are free range. Oh, so yeah, so I've seen her chase like every once in a while, like just a little bit. She gets a little playful, and I have to stop her. And my concern is, well, what would happen if I wasn't there to reprimand her? Because she snaps back in and she does well, and then I could sit there and watch her for an hour, and she won't do anything. She will just kind of sit, lie, sleep, gnaw on a bone, like do all the things that you want your livestock guardian dog doing around your birds. Sniff around, go pee somewhere, like all of that's the good behavior. And then every once in a while she just gets like a little glint in her eye, and then she wants to try to like play with a chicken, and that's the problem. And so until that behavior is completely gone, I just can't trust her with them. And then it's hard, but we'll manage through the summer. Don't you sweat it. Okay, Mark Giroux. Let's see what Mark's saying. As a film junkie, if a film director wanted to use the farm as a set, what sort of film would it be? Romance, zombie horror, eldritch horror, historical drama, documentary? Huh. I'm trying to like if a film wanted to what sort of film would I want shot at my farm? Honestly, my dream film, and I want to actually make this film myself one day, is a film that's like a nature film, like a David Attenborough film, but just set on a farm and just following farm animals. And like I said, I will probably make that myself at some point, but that's my dream. That would be the type of movie I'd like. I love my mug too, just for the record. Yeah, so it's this unicorn mug that says "You are magical," and it's gigantic. So I have like a big cup of peppermint tea that I loaded up in here in anticipation of this, and yeah, here I am doing my thing. Yeah, so I do it about once a week, and so I'll probably actually play it again later this week. So I want to be careful with roll for dog food. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, it's this game where I'm basically rolling dice to determine like what I feed my dogs for breakfast. And I want to be careful because I don't want to overfeed them. That is a risk, but I have been playing it, and I probably will play it like on a weekly basis, which I think is about right. Okay, yeah. Susan saying, yeah, I remember milking the bears. Yeah, the milking the bears was another just joke. Ooh, bobbleheads. I've looked at it. The manufacturing part of it's really, really hard to pull off. Why couldn't I afford more graphics for livestock? Well, Sarah, I really appreciate you saying that, and I hope they help, and I hope times get better for you too. So thank you for saying that, Sarah. It actually really means a lot that people feel that way or would even say that to me. So thank you. Honestly, having you guys to connect with and communicate with has helped me through some dark times too. So, no, feelings mutual. I mean, so here's the thing, Mary. It's not so much about a shortage of ideas for what to do with my barn. The thing I struggle with it is like what practically makes sense, how much money do I want to invest in it, and then how do I use it? Like so for example, when I was trying to make the decision of do I build a new barn to house our equipment and all the things that I described earlier, or do I just kind of try to retrofit and improve our existing barn. When I looked at the cost to do it, to be able to do all the things I'm doing in the new wooden timber frame barn versus overhauling our existing barn, it was going to cost about $100,000 more to take the existing barn and do all of that stuff versus just start fresh. And so that's the reality, and like trying to make some good business decisions around that barn is sort of what I struggle with. And that's why what I think you're going to ultimately see me do for the next 10, 20, 30 years, I don't even know how long, is just basically tread water with that barn, where I don't want it to fall apart. I don't want it to fall in disrepair. I'll do small patches and improvements here and there, but I'm also not going to sink a ton of money into it because I just don't think it's worth it. I know that that's not everybody, but it is for me in terms of kind of how I think it like makes the most sense. Yes, thank you, Danny. Please keep this in mind. I'm not ignoring people. Like, all right, so Danny just made this statement at 8:34. It's 8:41. I'm like almost 10 minutes behind. And I skipped a whole bunch of questions. So just know I'm doing my best to keep up. I don't. It's not a personal slight. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not trying to make you mad. I am just trying to do my best. I mean, there's like 900 people here, so I'm just trying to do my best. So please be understanding. Ooh, well, here's a life hack for you, Otavio. And I don't know if everybody has access to this. So our town, because we live in a small rural town, we have a waste transfer station, and so there's no like town garbage service or anything like that. Like you can hire private companies to do garbage, but there's no like municipal garbage. And so what you do is like every Saturday, you take all your garbage to the dump, and there's like recycling, and you have to sort the recycling, and you throw the trash out, and you have to pay for each trash bag that you throw out. But what happens is there's like a little shelf where people leave all their egg cartons. And so it's basically like either people depositing old egg cartons or people like me taking the egg cartons. And so it's essentially community recycling. So without any of those egg cartons going into our town's waste stream, I'm basically just taking them and reusing them and giving them out to people when I, sell my eggs or give away eggs. And that's basically how I do it. And so if you're struggling, you might want to look into it. I don't know what your community's like and what your waste transfer situation is like, but yeah, I get all my egg cartons for free. I don't pay for egg cartons. All right, let me keep going. I'm jumping ahead a little bit more again because I'm just trying to keep going. All right. Oh, I see a lot of folks. Hey, Texas Roast, what's going on there, pal? What's my favorite animal on the farm? That's a tough one. I know people always ask me this, and I always give look, the barn cats and guard dogs are not really farm animals in my mind. They're like farm employees or members of my family or somewhere in between the two. So I'll pull them out of the mix. In terms of what's my favorite animal to raise, I actually think it's the cattle these days. That's my favorite animal to work with. I think that's the animal that I want to expand my operation the most with. So yeah, I guess that would be my answer. I am not left-handed. I am right-handed, and I don't know, maybe the camera's doing weird funky things, but yes, I am right-hand dominant. I'm probably a little bit more ambidextrous than the average bear, but for the most part, I'm right-handed. Yeah, all right, Sydney, I think you make a very fair point, and I don't mean to speak out of turn or ignorance on this topic. I just, and I feel like I see this particularly with ADHD and like OCD, where it's like people will be like, I have OCD, and it's like, no, you're just being a jerk and controlling about something, versus like actually clinically getting diagnosed. Because I have friends who have OCD, and it's a challenging thing to have to contend with, and I feel like it almost minimizes it. So that's why I said what I said. It's not meant to be offensive, and I think, Sydney, you do make a very, very good point here. Okay. Hey, just popping in. How's Pablo? I need to know. Pablo's good. Pablo is really good. I saw him probably about an hour ago when I was outside feeding the animals. He's doing really well. Okay. If there's any animal on this farm who takes over the new barn and claims it as their own, there is no question that it's going to be Pablo Barncat. He has been taking great advantage of that space, and I expect him to continue to do so. Well, Kalam, you just type in your question. The tip, though, I would have is if you put your question in all caps, I'm going to be way more likely to see your question, and so do that. Okay, Heather Wolf Hubbard says, any advice on incubating chicks? I've done it a few times and they get halfway and stop growing. Heather, that could be a number of things. I think ensuring consistent and proper humidity, ensuring consistent and proper temperature, and then, turning your eggs are probably the three most important factors. And so if I was in your shoes and I was just having hatches mysteriously, crap out on me, what I would probably do is this. I would probably buy a digital thermometer. And here, Heather, we're going to do like live tech support for you. I'm going to give you a model in the chat that you could use that I would recommend. This won't be like an affiliate link or anything. This is just me on the spur of the moment trying to help you, Heather. What you're going to do is you're going to want to get one of these digital thermometers that tracks like what your temperature and humidity is, as well as what your highs and lows ranges are. Because what happens is if you have an incubator that's not keeping consistent, it's easily like one of the biggest problems that you're going to have to deal with. And so if you can get one of these things that shows kind of the range, and they're relatively cheap too. Like, I mean, I'm not telling you to spend like $50 here. Hold on, let me see if this one does it. Nope, that doesn't have the range. Hang on, I'm looking for you, Heather. Stick with me. Here you go. This is the one. This is like the gold standard. This is actually probably, I'm gonna probably order a couple of these for like the hoop coop as well as my own incubator. But this is what you want, Heather. And I apologize for the insanely long text in here. But this like, get one of these thermometers and try using it. I just dropped it in the chat. So I hope that helps. Would I ever put cattles on, or cameras on the cattles or birds? Yeah, so for most of my cattle, no, and I think the obvious reason is they're a little bit wild, and so it's hard to do. Don't be shocked if you see a Randy Macho Man Savage cattle cam at some point. Sorry, an upcoming question just made me laugh. But yes. so I would say cattle cam. I've done it where I put cameras on ducks, geese, and chickens, and I probably haven't done it lately because it's sort of boring. I mean, they're just sort of floating around, not doing much. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll do that. Maybe Set Your Space with Susan you're inspiring me to maybe give it a try too. Yes, our two superstar mods of the night here are definitely Danny and Tammy. And so please give them love. Are you not going to lose your tractor parts once you get a new barn? I sure as heck hope not. And yeah, that's actually one of the main purposes of this barn is equipment storage for things like tractor buckets and such. So yes, that is the plan. Do you support LGBTQ? 100%. Yes, absolutely. I really do want to be an ally. I think, there's actually a lot of crappy things happening in this country around some of this stuff right now. And yes, I am exceptionally supportive. How is Allison doing? She is good. Actually, Allison is working tonight. So she is at the hospital as we speak. But she's doing well. All right, Lisa. Here's the answer to your question. Should I get a goose to protect my chickens? Maybe is the answer, and it won't really protect your chickens though. So geese, are often kind of held out there as a guard animal. Like, oh, here's my guard goose. But they're really not a guard animal like Toby Dog or Abby Dog are guard animals. A goose is a good alarm system. A goose is a good predators, as well as certain aerial predators, as well as a deterrent for certain less aggressive types of predators. So, like, for example, weasels I find don't really mess with geese. Raccoons and like possums generally kind of stay away from the mix as well. Skunks, so geese are good in that regard. Geese are not going to stop a bobcat. Geese are not going to stop a fox. Geese are not going to stop a coyote. Geese are not going to stop wild dogs. Like a bear's not going to even blink at a goose. And so you really have to recognize that it depends on what sort of threat you have, and you do not want your goose to be the primary protection for your birds because it's not going to work. But it doesn't hurt, and it will only help. But just don't look at it as the protector of your chickens because it just won't pull the weight. Oh, Catherine, such a good segue for me. This was on my list of things to talk about tonight. So the Toby Dog book is coming. Guys, it's coming very, very soon, and if you want, there's going to be some reader outreach coming very soon. I'm going to drop a link. If you want to sign up for our mailing list, I strongly encourage you guys to do that. Here, I just dropped the link in the chat. But if you sign up for our mailing list, you will get the first and latest information on pre-order stuff and when that's coming. The way it's looking is the book's going to be released in September, and the pre-order is going to probably open up in early July. I'm going to be looking for people to help with reviews and promotion, and there's going to be some pretty cool things that we're going to be doing on some of these live streams related to the book. I'm actually recording an audio version of the book later this month, so there will be a print version, like a bound printed book. There will be an audio version on there'll be a Kindle version, like an electronic version, and then there will be an audio version, like on Audible. And in the audio version, I'm going to be the one reading it. I'm going to be doing voices for all the animals. I have special voices like already designed. I'm not going to give them away just yet, but I'll be doing like the full read, the whole thing. I'm recording later this month. I'm super, super pumped for it. And so it's coming. But if you want to get involved with the book, most definitely go out there and sign up for the mailing list. That would be my recommendation. That'll be how you get the latest and greatest. Obviously, though, if you watch these live streams, you'll hear about it as well. You're not going to miss it. But September is when it's going to be released. Okay, so they're actually hybrid breeds. It's like a couple British breeds mixed together, and I'm getting them from a friend of mine, Ben, who does, basically has a commercial pig operation. And I'll be getting them from him. That's the plan. I've actually done this investigation that if I were to take apart our old barn and try to salvage all the wood, what we get for it, and honestly, nobody wants the wood. I last looked at this about 5 years ago, but I still think it stands. I mean, if somebody were to approach me and say, hey, I'll take that apart and take all the materials and take your whole barn down and it won't cost you a nickel, I would actually probably strongly consider that. And so if anybody's watching this and saying, hey, I want all of that wood and I'll take apart your barn, hit me up, shoot me an email through my website. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to find much of an offer on that one. Question. I'm getting chicks tomorrow. I can't have a rooster. Should I get a goose? No. Look, if you're not allowed to have a rooster because of like noise problems, a goose is generally much louder than a rooster in my experience. And so don't get a goose because you can't have a rooster. Like don't do that. No, please don't. It'll only end badly for you and your neighbors, Lisa. Yeah, honestly, we've lost one bird to an aerial predator back when Toby was a puppy, and that was the only predator loss I've had in years now at this point. And so, yeah, if you wanted my opinion on what's the best approach to protecting against predators when you free range poultry, it's Livestock Guardian dogs, like full stop. Like they are built for this. They are wonderful at doing the job, and I don't know, I think they're wonderful to have around. But they're also work, and so don't go into this thinking, hey, I just got to buy a thing and put it out in my pasture and I'm done. But yeah, I think that's a biggie. Morgan, how do you make your audio so good? It's funny you should say that, Luminous. I don't think I do it all well. I actually think the weakest part of my videos is the audio. But to answer your question, I do a couple things. I have different microphones. Actually, my camera's within arm's reach, so let me show you. So this is like one of my cameras, right? And see this big fuzzy microphone with the big fuzzy thing on it? It's little cover your ears. It's called a dead cat. This actually helps muffle out any wind noise or rustling. Not any, but some. So that, like, having a good external microphone like that is one secret. The other secret is, depending on the shooting situation. Nope, don't put it there or else it'll tip over. Hang on a sec. Sorry, guys. Is I use like lavalier mics too. So like for example, this little tiny microphone I can clip to myself and like clip it like that, and usually I'll hide it underneath like my coat or something so you guys don't see it. But the audio on this then hits this like little receiver that I input into my camera, and like here you can see it. Boop 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 boop. Basically, this just makes significantly better audio quality. And so if you're out there, Luminous, trying to make your own videos, yeah, just invest in some microphones. Honestly, I would invest in a better microphone before I invest in a better camera if I was just starting out with YouTube. Yeah, and honestly, for the GoPro, yeah, if you're thinking about the GoPro, like there's the Media Mod case. That's pretty good. It's an okay mic, but you're even better if you get like an external mic on that. And when I shoot stuff with GoPro, because I do that all the time, that's typically what I do. And if you're just starting out and looking for something relatively affordable, I personally don't feel like you can go wrong with GoPro. So Grandma, I might milk one of my cows again once they have calves, particularly Ariel again, as well as particularly Belinda Carlisle. I think I actually could probably milk her, and I've been working with her. Those would be the two I would try, but I don't think I'd do it at scale. I mean, maybe someday you might see me actually just get like a milk cow, like a Jersey or something, and I use that to help, do things around the farm. But I don't have any immediate plans on that one. What do I think is better in egg production, chickens or ducks? I mean, it kind of depends on the breed of either. But I don't know. If you are looking to start a business around eggs, I would recommend going with chickens. And the reason is less about the number that they lay, because, if you have like a high production breed like the Khaki Campbell, as well as a high production breed like a Red Star Layer or something, they're going to lay about the same number of eggs per year anyway. They'll be like around the 300s, like 300 and change. And so I think that is like it's like neutral. Yeah, you can maybe charge a little bit more in some markets with duck eggs, but you're going to have a little bit more work to do in selling them. So I feel like that kind of makes it a wash. But then the big difference is cleanliness. It's insanely easy if you have the right type of nesting box to keep clean chicken eggs. And you don't have poop all over them, and you don't have to wash them. We don't even wash our chicken eggs on our farm. We keep them unwashed. We don't refrigerate them because we keep them unwashed. And I don't know, 95% of the time they're very pristine, clean eggs, and so they don't even need to be washed. And occasionally we'll have a poopy one, and either I'll eat that or the dogs will eat it or something like that. It's typically what will happen. So it's easy to keep clean chicken eggs. Keeping clean duck eggs, and I actually just made a short video on this not too long ago, and in case you guys can't tell, I'm starting to have cat allergies. But keeping clean duck eggs is really, 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 really hard, and you will have to wash and refrigerate all of your duck eggs. And so because of that, I think it's harder to make a business out of it. It's more cost, it's more time, it's more effort. I mean, even if you're washing your chicken eggs, it's easier to wash a chicken egg that's dirty because it's not going to be nearly as dirty as a dirty duck egg. Just trust me on that one. I would say that, in my opinion, if I was starting an egg business, I would go chicken. 100% no. I would not do that at all, Kevin. And here's why. Look, there are breeds, they're known as polled breeds. They're breeds that do not have horns. And if you don't want cattle that don't have horns, you should get one of those breeds. I think that's perfectly fine and acceptable. So don't hear this criticism that way. What I think is horrible is when people take polled or horned breeds and they disbud them, meaning they like basically burn the horn when they're calves. Number one, it's bad just because that's a painful, traumatic experience for the animal. But then number two, that animal and like how it's grown and developed, it really uses its horns as both a device of communication and navigation. And so, to like take that away from the animal, I think is cruel and wrong, and it's not letting that animal be the animal. I have Scottish Highland cattle. Scottish Highland cattle have big horns. I mean, they're not like Longhorn big, but they're big relative to most other breeds of cattle. And that was part of the deal. Like, you can't just say, "Oh, I want shaggy cows, but I don't want horns," and then just take that away from them. So no, I will not do that. And I'm actually, as you probably can tell, a little worked up. I'm vehemently against that one. Hey, Jackson. Sugaring's actually going pretty good. I mean, each week we're getting, probably in the neighborhood of about 40 to 45 gallons of sap. I'm boiling each weekend. I've done 3 boils so far this year. It's been good. Like, the evaporator I have, I absolutely love. And so if you guys want a Vermont evaporator, I got a coupon code. Go check it out. I'm not going to try to track it down right now. But, I absolutely love it. But, yeah, I'm worried that this might be the last week of sugaring I do. The temps aren't great. Tomorrow's not going to be a good sap day because it's going to be too warm. Later this week might cool down, and so we might get the sap running again. But I can tell we're getting to the end of the season very, very soon. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, I would say it's been an okay season. New equipment upgrade has been excellent. It actually has me thinking about probably tapping more trees and improving my sap collection for next year. Sap flow has been average, and so yeah, so it's an okay year. When do the cows move out of the enclosure? The plan will be probably late May. It's so weather dependent. It depends when things dry out. I don't want to put them out on pasture when it's too wet. And so I'll be kind of watching carefully for that. That's probably the biggest divider. When I do, I will be holding the boys back and the heifers back. And so I'll be breaking them for a short period of time into 3 groups where I'll have, the 2 boys who might hang back. Or actually, I don't know. I'm not sure which way I'll do this, but basically I'm going to have a couple of them hang back by the barn, a couple of them go into the small pasture, and then the big group of cattle are going to go into the big pasture. And so that will be the plan. And so, yeah, more to come there. Well, you're welcome about that, Frankenstein Lives. I mean, I think it's one of those things that, there's so much stigma around it for so many years versus saying, hey, it's not bad or worse. It's just different, and there's strengths and weaknesses that come with it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. So I'm happy to talk about that one. Why do you wear your watch on your right wrist if you're right-handed? I don't know. Is there a rule of... I'm asking this because I genuinely don't know here. Um, uh, like, yeah, I don't know. I've just always worn. Anytime I wore watches, it's always been on this hand. So yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. I'm gonna look that one up after I'm done here. OC, yeah, how to suck at anything. I think you're exactly right. Yeah, like if you have it, and I think you and I are probably coming from the same place. I think that's fine. But then, yeah, for somebody to be curious about it and say, hey, do I have this? Let me look into this more. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a really good thing for people. So Tom Travis, I have 3 beehives that I brought into the winter. 2 that I set up at the beginning of the spring, and 1 that I caught at the beginning of fall. And the good news is the 2 that I set up in the beginning of spring seem to be doing pretty well and are healthy. The 1 that I did at the fall, they died. And so, yeah, it's going to be a whole new hive that I'm going to have to set up. But yeah, there you have it. I'm honestly not really an MMA or boxing fan. I don't know. There's something about it. Just, I don't know. I feel like there's better things to watch than people fighting. I would much rather watch a baseball game, like full stop. Yeah. I don't know why I keep saying full stop tonight. Oh, hey Debbie. All right, I'm trying to stop calling you Piper Lee Lee, even though I just love saying Piper Lee Lee. There's something about how it rolls off the tongue. But Debbie, what I'll say is this: we are going to be going on our vacation. And I'm going to tell you guys because I'm not going to tell you when, but it's going to be some point later this year. We're going to Scotland actually. So if anybody out in Scotland has any suggestions, let me know. But we're going to be going out to Scotland, hanging out, visiting some cities, doing a little hiking. And I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, so that we finally decided, and we are going to Scotland. No, I don't yet. My plan is actually to put eggs in the incubator on Sunday. I actually keep these days basically because I have 4 years of data on this now. I know exactly when I want to start hatching, and for me it's Sunday. And so right now I'm collecting a whole bunch of goose eggs. I'm trying to get as many as I can, and that will be my first hatch. And that will be going in on Sunday, and then probably what you're going to start to see is like you'll see me doing it like on the regular, like in terms of like, in years past I would do like a 30-day hatch and then another 30-day hatch. You might start seeing me hatch weekly and change how I'm brooding. I'm going to be experimenting with some stuff this year, and so stay tuned for that one. When you hit an emotional low, what's your favorite pick-me-up drink? That's an interesting question. I mean, my favorite beverages are, I love making pour over coffee here at home and adding cream. Not like half and half, but like full on hardcore cream, like a splash of that. I love that. So that's definitely a pick me up when I'm in the kind of morning period, especially. I try not to drink it too late in the day. My favorite evening drink is peppermint tea. But then actually the real thing that's my true pick-me-up drink and addiction is I love bougie seltzers. So like earlier today I had it was a lavender cucumber, I think, or something like that. There's this company Ouroboros. They make these like super super bougie seltzers. I like theirs. Also, Polar makes like an orange vanilla seltzer that I'm like addicted to. And so that's probably the other one. I mean, if you're probably asking like, hey, alcoholic beverage, I mean, I love a good IPA, or I'm also a whiskey fan, but I actually try not to, like, if I'm looking for a mood changer, I don't find that alcohol helps much in that regard. Okay, I'm falling behind again. I'm gonna jump ahead again. Please don't get offended. I'm just jumping ahead, and there we go. Okay, when is Randy going to breed the cows? I actually have made the decision. This is actually based on some advice from some friends of mine as well. I will be putting Randy in with the ladies on Father's Day weekend. So, because essentially if I do that, that puts it at, I think it gets me just at the right amount of time when I would want him to be producing babies. And so he'll be in probably from Father's Day to, I'll probably go as late as Thanksgiving. And so that'll be when you see Randy out there with them. With your video, oh, this is actually an interesting one. So, what I've found over the years is people don't care when, when I go and make videos about other farms. Like, I've tried to do it before, but I'm working on a project right now that I can't quite talk about yet that involves other farms and farmers, and I might be trying to help them. So stay tuned on that. God, hey, Clueless Farmer, good to see you, man. Hope everything's going out there well for you. If you haven't seen, he makes actually some really clever videos. I really enjoy him. Who's my favorite Darren? I feel like I have to go Dick York. I mean, I don't know. But if you put two pictures of Dick York and Dick Sargent side by side, I might not be able to tell the difference. But I think Dick York was the first, right? So yeah, I think that my call. I don't know, man. I was a kid. I mean, I think you're about the same age as I am. Like, I barely remember Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie both, like, as a kid watching reruns on, like, Nick at Night. But yeah. Shauna, so yeah, that's on my, like, one day I'd like to do that list. So I don't have calving stalls yet. I won't right now. I won't have any calves though anytime soon either. But I do want to actually build out a new barn, and as part of that plan, I would be to include calving stalls. So yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, who is your favorite obscure Simpsons character? This is a good one. I've always been a big fan of Otto. I've always been a big fan of Snake, the criminal guy. And I will admit, I was a hardcore Simpsons fan for like the first 10 seasons or so, but then I don't know, my fandom's taped off and I haven't watched it in years. But yeah, like I don't see. Yeah, probably go Otto. My name is Otto, and I love to get Otto. Of course, one of my favorite lines ever is you remember the Spinal Tap episode where they're at the concert and they're like, "It smells like Otto's jacket." I love that. All right, Sarah is voting for the cattle cam. Who knows? Maybe I'm shooting a halter training video. Maybe I will try to do it. Not me. People are not yelling. This is how they ask questions. It makes it so much easier for me to see as I'm going through the stream of chats. So please, they're not being rude. And if it helps you the whole living out their dream, I actually have a place sort of right behind Little Barn Cat's house where I have like a record player. I bought old 7-inches that are like obscure punk rock 7-inches from the Connecticut punk scene of like the 1990s, which is like such a niche that I'm starting to try to build like one of the biggest collections ever. And I just will sit in here and listen to old punk records, and it makes me happy. Like, that's my happy place. And if you wanted to sign up for our mailing list, be sure to hit this one up. The physical book will just be paperback. I debated doing 2 editions and all that nonsense, but I don't know. I know some people might actually like it. So I get that, but like I was just trying to simplify some things, and so it will only be paperback. So we'll have the print paperback version, we'll have the Kindle digital version, and then we'll have the audio version. And so those will be the 3 versions available. Question. So do you still have the pic of my comment from your last live stream? The one about the cats? I don't, but if you're looking for a pic of the live stream and me saying, "Hey, look at Della's questions," you got this. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to tell you that. Yes, I actually very much like Guns N' Roses. My five favorite rock Guns N' Roses songs for you here. Rocket Queen. Um, uh, All right, I gotta think about this. Rocket Queen, Estranged, um, uh, Mr. Brownstone. I'm debating. There's a lot of good options here, but yes, I love Guns N' Roses. I'm gonna go with those as my top three. How about that? Don't Damn Me is good. Do you have a favorite Livestock Guardian dog except for the Maremma? I mean, I don't know if I'm really qualified to answer this one because I've never owned any other Livestock Guardian dogs. They're the Maremmas are the only ones I've owned. But yes, the Maremmas are my favorite. If I was gonna try to experiment with another breed, I don't know which way I'd go. I would really need to see a farm with those animals and feel really good about how they're using them. So yeah. Are you going to breed pigs from the start or just raise for freezer camp for a couple rounds? So Danny, my plan would be that this first batch is just, I have 3 pigs. They're destined for the freezer. It's a 6-month adventure. If I like it, great. If I don't, I move on, and that's that. And so that's my plan. And so yeah, there you have it. I 100% agree with that comment, Tony. Yes. Wait a minute, Brittany. How did I lie about the farm? I don't think I lied it. Unless you got fooled by the April Fool's prank. I'm just saying. So we bought the farm in the summer of 2016, and Allison moved up here the fall of 2017, and I moved up here May of 2018. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, yes, Brian, it was all a April Fool's joke. All an April Fool's joke. Golly. Am I crazy for this? I don't know, but I wonder. Your audio is great. Usually, I have to turn up the volume. I had to turn this way down. Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad. Dead cat. I thought it was a rat. Yes, it was. Yes, see, it was an April Fool's joke. All right, okay, I want to address this one. Pamela, I thank you for bringing this up. So I made a video the other day. It was actually a short. I was actually shooting it for a long video that'll be out next week. You'll see it on YouTube, where I put a chicken on their back and caused it to sleep. So I've not seen anything about it causing health issues. There is something though that a couple of people brought up, and I'm actually in the process of doing some research on it right now around, what you're doing is essentially creating like a high stretch situation that like it's like freezing the bird with panic. And some people will say that, and I get it. And so it's like tonic immobility is typically what it's called. But actually, others have told me that it's like rooted in that, but they're not actually feeling fear. And so I'm in the process of trying to set up some interviews with some veterinarians to try to get to the bottom of this one, quite honestly. And so rather than have speculation or one opinion versus another, or somebody anthropomorphize things, or somebody be callous and ignore things, I really want to get the facts on the table. And so it's a video I'm making. It probably won't come out for a couple of weeks, but I am working on trying to dig into this one. So yeah, I appreciate bringing that one up. Hey, Kevin. Like I said, it's like a cross between 2 English production breeds. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I'm testing out. Like I might not be made for raising pigs. They are pretty darn smart creatures, and maybe I just can't handle it. Um, uh, yeah, there you. I mean, like that's why I think it's good to do a trial run. I wish more people in the homesteading and farming world would normalize doing an experiment and have the wiggle room to say, hey, that wasn't for me, and move away from it. And so as I'm doing the pigs, that's one of the things I'm going to be very, very open about and talking about. And so yeah, that'll be something that happens. Yeah, hens, man. I think you're talking about like, just budding cattle. I think it's exactly the same thing. It's like you shouldn't dock a tail of a dog or its ears or something like that. So yeah, no. And honestly, the animals are not like aggressive with their horns. Like they will use their horn to nudge you, but they're not like trying to gore you with it. You just got to be careful. Yeah. So we don't sell syrup. So when we produce syrup, what we're essentially doing is we are creating enough syrup for ourselves for the year, and usually that's about a gallon or two that we go through each year, just the two of us. And then we have some that we give away to family and friends, but I don't make nearly enough to have it to sell for anybody. We have probably about 120 apple trees planted right in the back part of the bird pasture. So you know what? We are exceptionally cozy. I don't know if you guys can see this, but little barn cat is up here hanging out with me, and she's really happy. Isn't that right, sweetie? Yeah, I love having that cat in this office with me. It makes me so happy. Didn't think it would, and I'm even itching my face right now because I forgot to wash my hands after having her up on my lap earlier. But yeah, I love having her here. You know what? I don't think I would get a farm horse. I'm not a big horse fan. Horses are a lot of work. They're a lot of money, and I don't know. I don't see the value necessarily. I am working on a new way to get around the farm, which will be a video that you see in the near future. But it won't be a horse. So if you look at my YouTube videos, there's probably about a 10 to 14 day lag between when I shot the video and when I post it. And that's just simply so I can have enough time to edit and I'm not feeling like I'm constantly under the gun and like up the night before trying to get a video finished. It's just less stressful. And I don't know. I don't think it makes that much of a difference if it happened today or 2 weeks from now. And so, like, yes, here I am showing you the structure of our barn, and tomorrow's video is actually all about building the structure of that barn. I think live streams like this are the only place where it really gets weird. On TikTok, it's basically I'm like pretty much real time. Same thing on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm probably even later. I'm probably a month behind real life, if that makes sense, because I have to do a whole bunch of stuff to get it ported over to Facebook, and I usually do that after I finish the YouTube video. So yeah. And yes, thank you guys. I'm not seeing the note. For some reason, I'm not getting the alerts for the donations tonight. Usually I do in my window, but yes, thank you. We are trying to raise money for Feeding America, and so, or I'm sorry, for Vermont Food Bank. So thank you. Oh, completely. I actually, yeah, I'm definitely a Red Sox. I mean, there's no other baseball team I would root for at all. So yeah. Yeah, Lisa, I do try to make a rough schedule for what I want to do and like the things I'm going to try to get done on each day. It was one of those things that when I shifted from having a day job to just doing this full time, I felt like I needed some structure, and so there, yeah, that for me was a big part of it. I typically will like make a plan for the week, and then I'll sort of check things first thing in the morning and maybe make some adjustments. I'm a cake guy. Yeah, nothing like a kid who loves cake. Oh, hey! I feel like, wow, How to Suck at Anything's been reading my messages lately. There will be one. Just give it a couple of weeks, but there is one in the works. It's really funny you should actually mention Anne. If you guys don't know, Anne of All Trades, another YouTube channel. She homesteader and woodworker based in like the Tennessee area, and super talented, super cool person. And yeah, she and I are actually working on a video together as we speak. I don't know, Game Farmer. I just don't know, and I've tried to catch her and tried to do some checks, and I just don't know. And so what I'm doing is just watching her very carefully. I'm not seeing any signs like she's bagging up or anything. And so I hope not. I don't know. Maybe I kind of maybe hope she is. We'll see. We'll see. She's a question mark. Is the direct answer to your question. Are good at. Have you ever played chess? I mean, I played lots of chess. I would not say I'm good. Um, like I enjoy playing with other people who are bad and not skilled players. If I play anybody with any sort of skill or know-how, I get demolished very quickly. But like if two people who know how to move the pieces but aren't great at the game play, I actually enjoy playing chess like that. Am I a self-sustaining farm? Do you sell anything from your farm? Yeah, we definitely sell food from our farm. So we sell eggs, we sell goose meat, we sell beef, and we sell tree seedlings. So those are the main things that we sell from our farm for our farm business. In terms of us being self-sustaining, I mean, we're not 100%, not even close to it. This time of year, I would say we're probably about, I don't know, maybe 60% of, like if I look at a given week, about 65% of all the food I eat comes from the farm. So eggs, beef, poultry meat, frozen vegetables, kind of those are it. This time of year, though, we're definitely buying more stuff at the grocery store because we're pretty much worked our way through the root cellar and the freezer of our vegetable stock. But like if you caught us in like August or September, we're close to like 90%, 95%. Yeah. I probably will buy a steer, maybe two, Jermaine. So the answer is yes. Can I make some goodle soup? I mean, like you mean in a video? I would do that. Yeah. I mean, in case you guys are wondering what's goodle soup, so sometimes when I'm processing a frozen goose for us to eat here at home, what I'll do is basically I will cut part it. So like much like you're like parting a chicken, where I'll separate the breasts out, I'll separate the thighs out, the drumstick, the wings, and then I'll be left with like the back and the neck. I'll take the back and the neck and basically cook it for stock. I'll pull the meat out of that and set that aside, and then maybe even cook the bones even longer for even more stock. And then I'll add the meat back in, and then we add noodles and carrots, celery, garlic, onion, kale is usually what I put in it, and that's how I make my goodle soup. But yeah, maybe I'll try to. It's not a summer food. Maybe I'll try to do a late spring goodle soup pretty soon. Allison loves it, so yeah. Oh yeah, no, I like Trailer Park Boys. I don't like it as much as Letterkenny or Shoresy, but yeah, it's definitely a funny show. I'm a sucker for Canadian comedy. Growing up as a kid, like SCTV and the Kids in the Hall were like huge to me, especially Kids in the Hall. I still worship them to this day. And so yeah, I'm a big Canadian comedy fan, and yeah, Trailer Park Boys falls into that. Uh, North Coast 500. So we are going to be renting a car. That's actually our plan. So we're going to go from like Glasgow to up into the Highlands, and we are going to have a rented car. And so North Coast 500. I'm going to look into that. Thank you, Heinlein. Heinlein. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm thinking it's like Robert Heinlein. All right, guys. I can definitely feel it. My voice is tapping out, and I think I'm going to be done for the night. But I really appreciate you guys coming in to hang out. Honestly, these times, you're gonna see me doing a couple more in the not too distant future. They mean a lot to me to spend it with you guys. I love the fact that we're able to kind of hang out across both platforms, and I love the questions you guys have been asking. And I will be back very soon. Tomorrow's video, though, all about trying to build the barn and some problems I faced trying to get there. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I will see you guys very soon. As always, thank you, especially to Danny and Tammy, who were like the MVPs of tonight's mod team. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Please, guys, check them out. Show them some love, and I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks for watching, everyone.